Hello everyone, this is Daniel, and I have a video to make right now, and it involves to people that say that the end of the world is going to happen right when they're at it, or let's say they live to the end of the world and they live towards the rapture. Anyway, the more realistic expectation should be, well, you die before the rapture happens. Let me say that clearly because if anyone does die before the rapture does happen, especially when you're older, because basically that just means that, well, anything can happen. Like, you know, like for instance, someone could again die in a car crash, or someone could actually have a aneurysm, brain aneurysm, anything like that. Maybe even more complex is how they, you know, live their lives and how unhealthy they are, or anything like that. Things like that. So the point is, you may not have time until the rapture happens. You may actually die before the rapture. Even then, the rapture may not be until 100 years, maybe close to 1,000 years, but you may not have until a lifetime until the rapture happens. Now, the realistic expectation is, for some of you, that the rapture is quite literally, within this year, maybe until 2036 or something like that, but really what's going on is you're setting unexpected expectations about the rapture. If that's the case, then, well, the rapture really is something that pertains to people that wish to escape, and kind of it's a thing to escape the world and get away from all of these people. But really, what is rapture all about? Let me tell you the reason why there's a rapture. The people have sinned too much. There's too many people that are getting themselves involved with sin, and it's a judgment against sin. So you're not involved with the judgment, but it's a judgment against the sinners and against the sin itself. So the rapture is really not a good thing for many people, because there's also billions of people that are going to be left behind. Maybe 8 billion people that are going to be left behind. And just to say that you would be part of the rapture is something to say, it's a generational thing, because why is the rapture going to be there? Well, more and more people are not choosing life. More and more people are not choosing anything pertaining to life. Why is that? The theme is the rapture happens because people are not choosing life. And less people these days are choosing life. And they're choosing death. And the rapture will happen at a time when no one chooses life. And that just means that no one is really wanting to be talking about God in a way that pertains to them, because, well, they have more exciting things to deal with, like work and parties, drunkenness, you name it, all the fun stuff. And if you're wondering, why is that all about themselves? Well, the internet's all about themselves, but that's just not where we're at right now. Where we're at right now is people are full of themselves, but people are still choosing life. When people do not choose life anymore is when the internet bans Christianity, when the internet bans all of that stuff pertaining to Christianity, and then no one becomes brave anymore to choose life, because of the fact that the government has literally taught them not to choose life anymore. And they'll not believe in God. They'll just have people just saying, okay, I do not believe in this, I do not believe in that, because it does not exist, because all these scientific theories exist. And they have more evidence of things pertaining to atheism than anything else. That is not today right now. So right now, I beg of you right now, because you might not have a chance near the end of the world where, oh dear, you might not have a chance anymore to have, you know, you might not have a chance anymore just to choose life, because everyone's going against that theory, because it's really illegal for every country. Because it could be happening within 2 years, it could be happening within a year, it could be happening within a lifetime. So, if anything, the rapture is something that people have made up a name for. It used to be called harpazo. It's snatching away. However, that in itself is, we need the technology to scan scan people's thought patterns. Like, no one knows the mind except for God, but it's by the mitochondria that they know about the thought patterns, by the way people are, you know, the way the people are reacting on the computer. Like, you can have a microscanner just to see if the person is thinking in a certain way, and just looking at them and saying, okay, this person is not going to choose the Antichrist or something like that, you know? So honestly, really, if you're wondering, how close are we to that? Not really that close, but we could be close. But since the chip shortage happened, I think God is finding grace in the people that are choosing life. A generation, I believe, lasts up to 120 years. Let me repeat that. I believe a generation lasts up to 120 years. And 120 plus 1948 is 2068. And back then it used to be 70 and 80. That's how scary life has gotten these days. By strength, it's supposed to be 120. That's how much people can only last. I mean, the person that was, I would say 123, I think it was. I think she was born 3 years later than that. I think she only died at 120. And we can only live up to 120 years old. So I believe we have until 2067 or 2068. If that's by the strongest, you know what I mean, like, that's a generational thing. And then if we're raptured before that, 7 years before that, it's like 2068, that's like 2061. But if it's not a generational thing, then the Bible will be just clearly just not talking about what they think it's, well, it's not really what the Bible thinks, it's really what the Bible's stating. So if it's really 2061 that the rapture is going to happen, then we may have to rethink about what the real generation is. I believe it's going to be 2061 anyway, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to 2041, 2061, 2051, or any of these states. Because you gotta remember, it's all about what God thinks. No man, not even Jesus, knows when the end is going to happen. But that doesn't mean that we're supposed to say that, oh, we don't know, so we can do whatever we want. Because remember, what if you die today, or tomorrow, or a year from now, or 10 years before the rapture? Does that matter in the long run? Of course. Because you have the afterlife to deal with. Sometimes you're wondering, why should we not worry about the rapture, but worry about our death? We were looking forward to the rapture. Well, in a theory, it's cool that you're hoping to get away from the world, but then there's also the fact that the world in the news is so scary that it's considered fear-mongering. That the tribulation after that is fear-mongering to the people that are not born again. I've been wrong on that too. So anyway, let's talk about, you know, basically agreeing on one thing, and that's salvation to all people. Because that's what we have now. What is true salvation right now? And let me tell you right now. It is believing that Jesus died for you on the cross. And that after belief and after knowing that you're a sinner, is by choosing Jesus. It is by accepting Jesus' free gift. It is by accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior. Anything like that. Choosing Jesus, choosing life. Everything that pertains to Jesus and choosing life is really true salvation. So all you have to say is, Jesus, I choose you. Jesus, I accept you as my Lord and Savior, and I accept you as, and I accept your free gift of salvation. Everything that's choosing that and accepting Jesus, and by accepting Jesus, you are saved. By believing, by choosing Him, by accepting His free gift. That is the only thing we should worry about. Because if no one chooses that anymore, for whatever reason, like people are running away from God all the time, except for the old generation, that is when the rapture will happen. And that's not happening right now, is it? Because I know somewhere in the Bible it said that my people no longer choose me. So that's when the world will happen. That's when the end of the world will happen. When nobody chooses Jesus anymore. I don't know how close we are to that, but obviously we're not totally close to that. Anyway, we're not really that close. So, yeah. Don't worry about the end of the world. Worry about Jesus. In that way, you will be saved. Okay? Alright, I'll be done, okay? Bye.